Good day and magandang araw to all of us. We're going to discuss Chapter 6, Analyzing and Interpreting Quantitative Research. In this chapter, we will delve into the essential aspect of quantitative research analysis and interpretation. Quantitative research involves the collection and analysis of numerical data to uncover patterns, relationships, and trends within a study. As we journey through Chapter 6, we will gain a deeper understanding of the complex process of analyzing and interpreting quantitative research. By mastering these essential skills, we can unlock valuable insights and contribute to the advancement of knowledge in our respective fields. Let's dive in on this enlightening exploration of analyzing and interpreting quantitative research in Chapter 6. But first, let's have the reading of objectives. By the end of this chapter, you should be able to identify the steps in the process of analyzing and interpreting quantitative data, describe the process of preparing your data for analysis, identify the procedures for analyzing your data, learn how to report the results, and lastly, describe how to interpret the results. So now let's proceed to the steps in the process of quantitative data analysis. So what are the steps in the process of quantitative data analysis? In the process of analyzing quantitative data, a series of interconnected steps are followed. Initially, data preparation is crucial, involving the assignment of numeric scores, selection of appropriate scoring methods, choosing a statistical program, data input, and database cleanup. Next is the data analysis, commences with a descriptive examination, showcasing central tendencies and variability measures. This is followed by more advanced inferential analysis to test hypotheses, assess confidence intervals, and evaluate effect sizes. The results are then reported using tables, figures, through discussion of key findings. Finally, the interpretation stage involves summarizing results, comparing them to existing literature and theories, acknowledging study limitations, and proposing their direction for future research. So the quantitative data analysis process in reporting. First is to prepare the data analysis. Before dividing into the data analysis, it is crucial to ensure that the data is clean, organized, and ready for analysis. These steps involve data cleaning, data coding, and data entry to prepare the dataset for accurate analysis. Next is to begin the data analysis. Once the data is prepared, the next step is to start the data analysis process. This includes applying appropriate statistical techniques to explore the data, identify patterns, and test hypotheses. Descriptive statistics such as mean, median, and standard deviation are often used in this phase. Third is to conduct more sophisticated inferential analysis. After conducting initial data analysis, more sophisticated inferential analysis techniques are employed to draw conclusions from the data. This step involved hypothesis testing, regression analysis and ANOVA, and other advanced statistical methods to examine relationships and association within the data. Fourth is to create a report of your results in tables, figures, and effective styles. Reporting the results of quantitative data analysis is a critical part of the research process. The report should include tables, figures, and visual to present the findings effectively. Clear and concise presentation of results help communicate the key insights derived from the data analysis. And next is the interpreting the analysis. After presenting the results in the report, the final step is interpreting the analysis. This involves explaining the implication of the findings, discussing the significance of the result in the context of the research objectives, and drawing conclusions based on the data analysis. Interpretation helps to provide insights, make recommendations, and guide future research direction based on the findings. For a simple understanding, let's connect this in cooking. The first thing to do is to prepare your ingredients, which is your data. Then start cooking process And as a cooker, you have some rights to do what should be the best techniques in your delicacy. In research, there are also some methods to be done. Then do the plating. Researchers need to present their data by using figures or tables accordingly. And lastly, do the tasting. Then adjust if needed. In research, you need to re-examine your work and adjust some data if needed. In the world of data analysis, scoring data is a crucial step that can unlock valuable insight and drive informed decision making. Let's dive into the process of scoring data effectively. First, define your objectives and question. It all begins with a clear understanding of your objectives and question. What do you aim to achieve your analysis? What specific question do you want to answer? For example, it's about the impact of mobile phone on children. Then, select and collect your data. Carefully select and gather data from various sources. Consider the quality, quantity, and relevance of the data. Document your sources and collection procedures for transparency. Here, for example, we conduct 150 participants specifically the parents. Next is clean and validate your data. Cleanse your data by removing errors, outliers, and missing values. Validate the data to ensure accuracy and reliability. A clean data set sets the stage for accurate scoring. So you need to do double checking. Next is organize and structure your data. Organize your data logically to facilitate analysis. Define the format, type, and relationship of data elements. Consistency is key in structuring your data. Using a table, organize accordingly. And next is to transform and enrich your data. Transform and enrich your data to make it analysis ready. Add new information that enhances your analysis. Test and evaluate this transformation for data integrity. Explore and visualize your data. E- Explore your data to uncover patterns and insights. Visualize your findings through graphs and charts for effective communication. Visualization enhances understanding. So by using charts and on graphs, we can have an easy understanding about your data by using this kind of visuals. So now it's the time to score the data. Assign numerical values or scores based on criteria such as weighted scoring, ranking classifications, or scoring models. So, by following a structured approach to scoring data, you can derive meaningful insights and make informed decisions. Remember to validate your scoring methods and consider the context of your analysis. Thinking that you have a special notebook, but call it code book, that holds the key to understanding a mysterious data set. Let's uncover the secret of this code book together. So, a code book is like a guidebook that helps you navigate throughout the data set. It contains detailed information about each variable, like its name, type, and values. Each variable in the data set has a name, just like how we have names. The code book tells us what each variable represents. The code book gives us a short description of the variable, like a little story that explains it's all about. This helps us understand the variable better. Variables can be different types, like number or categories. The code book tells us what type of each variable is, so we know how to work with it. Variables can have different values or categories. The code book shows us all the possible values a variable can take, like a menu for option to choose from. Sometimes the code book also includes extra notes or tips about the variables. These notes help us handle the data better and avoid confusion. So by using the code book as our trusted guide, we can unlock the secrets hidden in the dataset and make sense of the numbers and categories. It's like having a map to navigate the data world. Creating a code book involves developing a list of variables or questions that outline how responses from instrument or checklist will be coded or scored. The codebook provides name for each variable, brief definition of the variables, and assign numbers to each response option. We're going to learn about three special types of score that help us make sense of data. Let's dive into single item score, sum score, and difference score. Single item score. Imagine you have a single question in a test. When you answer that question, you get a score based on how well you answer. This is like a single item score, where we score one thing at a time. Now let's talk about sum score. It's like adding up score from different questions in a test to get your total score. This sum score gives us a big picture of how well you did overall. Lastly, let's explore a difference score. It's like comparing two numbers to see how much they differ. This helps us understand changes, improvements, or differences between the things. In application, we have example. In a survey, a single item score could be how much you like a product. A sum score could be adding up your ratings on different product features. And a difference score could show the change in your satisfaction before and after using the product. So by using these three types of scores, we can analyze data, compare results, and make informed decisions. Each score tells us a unique story about the data we're exploring. When choosing a statistical program for data analysis, researchers should consider several factors. First, it is important to find a program that provides documentation and tutorials to help users understand and navigate its features. Free tutorials are often available on websites. Ease of use is another crucial factor to consider. Programs with user-friendly interfaces, such as pull-down menus and easy data entry, make it easier for researchers to work with the software. Additionally, researchers should ensure that the chosen program offers the specific types of statistical analysis needed to answer the research questions and type to answer the research question and type and test hypothesis. Then, it is important to consider the program's capacity to handle the size of data set. Researchers should evaluate whether the program can handle the number of participants and variables in their database effectively. In selecting a statistical program, it is crucial to consider factors such as program's ability to handle missing data and provide flexible data handling options. Programs should also be capable of reading data in various formats and importing files from spreadsheets or databases. It is advantageous to choose a program that can generate graphs and tables for use in research reports. If purchasing the software is necessary, it is important to weigh the cost of different programs. Student versions of programs may be available at lower cost, although they may have limited statistical tests. To find detailed information about various statistical analysis computer programs, websites provide comprehensive resources. So these are some of the frequently used statistical programs include. Inputting data is a fundamental step in the data analysis process where you enter information into a system for analysis. Here are some key points to consider when inputting data. The data format. Ensure your data is in the correct format for input. This may include using spreadsheets, databases, or specialized software depending on the type of analysis you are conducting. Next is the data entry. Carefully enter the data to avoid errors. Double-check entries for accuracy and completeness to maintain data integrity. Next is the data validation. Validate the data to ensure it meets the required format, range, and consistency. These steps help identify and correct any errors in the input data. Next is the data cleaning. Clean the data by removing duplicates, inconsistencies, missing values, or outliers. Data cleaning ensures the accuracy and reliability of the input data for analysis. Next is the data transformation. Transform the data if needed by converting variables, aggregating data, or creating new variables to prepare it analysis. Next is the data storage. Store the input data securely and maintain backups to prevent data loss. Consider using cloud storage or dedicated servers for data security. Next is documentation. Document the data input process, including the sources of data entry procedures, and any transformations or cleaning steps applied, and reproducibility in your analysis. When inputting data, accuracy consistency, and completeness are the key factors to consider to ensure the quality of the data for analysis. By following the best practices in data input, you can set a solid foundation for conducting effective data analysis and deriving meaningful insight from your data. Cleaning and accounting for missing data are essential steps in data analysis process to ensure the accuracy and reliability of your results. Here are some key strategies for cleaning and handling missing data effectively. In cleaning data, identify missing values. Use tools or functions to identify missing values in your data set. Common representation of missing data include NA, NaN, or blank cells. Next is to remove duplicates. Check for and remove duplicate rows or entries in your dataset to avoid redundancy and ensure data integrity. Next is to handle outliers. Identify and address outliers that may skew your analysis results. Consider removing or transforming extreme values based on domain knowledge. Next is to correct data errors. Review the data for errors, inconsistencies, or inaccuracies. Correct any data entry mistakes or formatting issues to improve data quality. Now let's proceed to standardize data formats. You need to ensure consistency in data formats across variables. Standardized data formats, units of measurement, and categorical values for uniformity. Now let's proceed to the accounting for missing data. First, understand the missing data pattern. Analyze the pattern of missing data to determine if it is missing completely at random or MCAR, missing at random or MAR, or missing not at random or MNAR. This understanding helps in selecting appropriate handling methods. Next is imputation techniques. Consider imputation methods to fill in missing values, such as mean imputation, median imputation, mode imputation, or predictive imputation using machine learning algorithms. Next is to create missing data indicators. Create binary indicators to flag missing values in your dataset. This allows you to account for the presence of missing data in your analysis. Next is the sensitivity analysis. Conduct sensitivity analysis to assess the impact of missing data on your results. Evaluate the Evaluate the robustness of your findings by testing different imputation methods or handling strategies. Then, document missing data handling. By documenting the methods used to handle missing data in your analysis, provide transparency by explaining how missing values were addressed and the rationale behind the chosen. So, cleaning and accounting for missing data are crucial steps in preparing your dataset for analysis. By ensuring data cleanliness, addressing missing values effectively, and documenting your data handling process, you can enhance the quality and reliability of your analysis result. So now let's proceed to the next reporter.
So, good afternoon, everyone. How do you analyze the data? Analyzing quantitative data involves a series of steps to uncover patterns and trends within your numerical data. Here's a breakdown of the general process. The first one is data collection. These initial steps involves gathering your quantitative data through surveys, experiments, or other methods that produce measurable results. The next one is data cleaning. Before before analysis, you'll need to clean your data. This means checking for errors, inconsistencies, and missing values. You may need to fix or remove these errors to ensure the accuracy of your analysis. If you're so, data analysis. This is the fourth stage where you use statistical methods to make sense of your data. There are two main branches of statistical analysis used for quantitative data. The first one is descriptive statistics. This method summarizes the key characteristics of your data set. Common descriptive statistics include include measures like mean, which is average, median, medial value, mode, most frequent value, standard deviation, spread of the data, and frequency distribution. How often each value appears. While the inferential statistics, these methods allow allow you to draw conclusions beyond your immediate data set and make generalization about a larger population. This might involve using techniques like t-test, which is comparing means between two groups, and ANOVA, which is comparing means of three or more groups, correlation analysis, finding relationships between variables, or, or regression analysis, modeling the relationship between one variable and others. The next one is data visualization. Once you've analyzed your data, you can use visual aids like charts, graphs, and tables to effectively communicate your findings. Choosing the right visual format depends on the type of data and insight you want to highlight. So the next is interpretation. Finally, you'll need to interpret the results of your analysis. What do the statistics and visual tells you about your data? Relate your findings back to your research question and initial goals to draw meaningful conclusions. So next is conduct descriptive analysis. So what is descriptive analysis? Descriptive analysis is all about summarizing and understanding the core characteristic of your quantitative data. Here's a roadmap to conduct a descriptive analysis. The first one is gather your data. Ensure you have your quantitative data set ready. This could be in form of a spreadsheet, database, or any format where have numerical values. The other some example of this is like the G form, like I said earlier. So the next is measure of central tendency. Calculate a measure that represent the center of your data. Common one includes mean, which is average. This is the sum of all the values divided by the number of values. It is represent the most commonly understood average. While the median is the middle value when the data is arranged in ascending. When you say ascending, when you say ascending, it is increasing into higher level. So if you have an even number of data points, the median is the average of the two middle values. The next is mode. This is most frequent value in your data set. Me- measure of dispersion. These statistics describe how spread out your data is. So next is standard deviation. This shows how much variation there is from the average value, which is mean. A lower standard deviation indicates the data points are closer to the mean, while while, while higher value suggests more spread. So um variance. This is the square of the standard deviation and show the spread of data squared. So this is the sample of the variance. So frequency distribution. Create a table or a chart that shows how often each value or a range of values appears in your data set. This helps visualize the distribution of your data. Here. So visualization. Use tools like histogram, box plots, or pie charts to visualize represent your data. This can reveal patterns and trends that might not be readily apparent from just looking at the numbers. Okay, the next one is conducting impartial analysis in quantitative data. So, internal statistics allow you to use your sample data to draw conclusions about a larger population. Here's a breakdown of the key steps. So the next is tables. So tables are powerful tools in quantitative research for making data presentation simple and short. So here's why they excel. Condense information. Table can summarize a large amount of data in a compact and organized way. Numbers, numbers, categories, and frequencies are neatly arranged, allowing readers to quickly grasp key pattern and trends. The, ne- the next one is highlight relationship. By organizing data into rows and columns, table can reveal relationship between variables. This makes it easier to compare data points and identify correlation or difference. Next is easy scanning. Readers can easily scan a table to find specific value or trends without getting bogged down in lengthy text description. And lastly is standardization. Table follows a consistent format, making them familiar and easy to understand for most readers, regardless of their background. Next is figures. So what are quantitative data figures? So quantitative data is data that can be counted or measured in numerical values. The two main types of quantitative data are discrete data and continuous data. Height, height in feet, age in years, and weight in pounds are examples of quantitative data. Qualitative data is descriptive data that is not expressed numerically. So next is present rules, which is the last one. So if you're gonna present the if you're gonna present your quantitative um research, you need to follow this. So focus on highlights. Prioritize key statistics 0 in on the most important numbers that directly answer your research questions. Leave out unnecessary details that might clutter the presentation. Next is bullet points and concise sentences. Use bullet points or short, clear sentences to present the findings. This allows readers to quickly grasp the main takeaway. Next is visual impact. Targeted charts and graphs. Instead of including extensive tables, use well-designed chart and graph that visually represent the most significant trends or relationship. Next is focus on clarity. Ensure each chart or graph has a clear title and legend, avoiding extensive decoration or overwhelming details. Next is clear and consistent language, concise language. Define essential terms. If you have any technical term, provide concise definition within the text to avoid confusion. So don't use um a English word that is hard to understand. So next is active voice. Use active voice to make your writer more engaging and impact. And next is structure and organizations. Logical logical flow. Organize your results by research questions. This allows readers to easily follow the progression of your analysis. Next is signposting. Use phrases like our findings show or the data suggests to guide the readers through the key points so that the panelists will not ask a question. So lastly is remember your audience. Tailor the level of detail. Tailor the level of text. Consider who will reading the results and adjust the level of technicality and accordingly. Thank you.
And so, I'll be the next reporter. And in this topic, how do you interpret the results? And after reporting and explaining the detailed results, researchers conclude a study by summarizing the findings, developing explanations for results, suggesting limitations in the research and making recommendations for future inquiries. So, this figure that you can see is the process of reporting results from an ANOVA test. So, descriptive statistics provide insights in the data, while inferential statistics such as ANOVA helps determine if there are significant differences between groups. The F value, P value, and effect size are crucial in understanding the statistical and practical significance in the findings. So next is summarize the major results. So summarizing major findings. So in the process of interpreting results, researchers first summarize the major findings and present the broader implications of the search for distinct audiences. So they review the main conclusions related to each research questions or hypothesis, focusing on general rather than specific conclusions. So specific and general conclusions. So it's important to understand the difference between specific and general conclusions. So, specific conclusions include details about statistical tests, significance levels, and effect size. On the other hand, general conclusions provide an overall assessment of whether the hypothesis was rejected or if the research question was supported or not. So, um, the positive implications. So researchers often end their research by discussing the positive implications of the study and highlighting the significance of their findings and how they contribute to the existing body knowledge. And the next one is explaining why the results occurred. So researchers often explain the reasons behind the results obtained in their study. So this explanation is usually rooted in the predictions made based on the theoretical framework and based on the theoretical framework that guided the development of research questions and hypotheses. So it involves revisiting and existing literature and discussing uh, how the results either supported or contradicted prior studies. Authors frequently reference past research to provide context and support for their findings, and a conclusion may compare and contrast the result with existing theories or bodies of literature to offer deeper insights. And the next one is advancing limitations. So, advancing limitations, researchers also highlights the limitations or weaknesses of their study that may have influenced the results. So, these limitations are systematically listed and often pertain to inadequate measurement of variables, participant loss, small sample size, and measurement errors. So, and also other factors related to data collection and analysis. So, acknowledging these limitations is crucial for future researchers considering similar studies, as it helps them anticipate, challenge, and design their research more effectively. And these limitations also assist readers in assessing the generalizability of the findings to different contexts and populations. So the next one is suggesting future research. Future research directions. Future research directions represent recommendations for additional studies that should be undertaken based on the present research findings. So these suggestions serves as a natural progression from the study's uh, limitations and offer valuable guidance for new researchers and readers that is interested in further exploration or practical application of the results. And future research suggestions typically found at the end of a research study. So this helps and educators and researchers identify unexplored areas and provide a roadmap for expanding knowledge. And they highlight gaps in knowledge and set the stage for future investigations. So offering a positive outlook on the contributions of the research. So next is key ideas in the chapter. So step one is preparing your data for analysis. The first step in quantitative data analysis is preparing the data for statistical examination. This involves organizing numeric data, assigning scores to response, and selecting the appropriate statistical software for analysis. And the next step is analyzing the data. Uh, Once the data is prepared, researchers delve delves into analyzing it to address their research questions. So this may involve descriptive analysis to understand trends and inferential analysis to draw conclusions about a larger population. Step 3, reporting, reporting the results. So after conducting the analysis, researchers present their findings using tables, figures, and detailed discussions. So this includes reporting the results of statistical tests and ensuring the language used is suitable for quantitative research. And um, the last one is step 4, interpreting the results. So in this final stage, researchers interpret the results by summarizing key findings, explaining the outcomes based on existing literature or theories, and discussing any limitations that may uh, have influenced the results. So they also suggest areas for research to address these limitations. So the process of um, analyzing and interpreting quantitative data is a journey that involves preparation through analysis, uh, involves preparation through analysis, um, peer reporting, and insightful interpretation. So by following these steps diligently, researchers can contribute valuable insights to their field of study. Useful information for producers of research. So number one, um, designing quantitative research. So when planning quantitative research, consider the essential processes of analyzing and interpreting data. This includes preparing and organizing data, conducting descriptive and inferential analysis, summarizing results in visually and in discussions, and concluding the study by explaining the findings. Next is data preparation. So, score your data systematically and input it into a computer program using a grid format for efficient analysis. Number three, choosing a computer program. So, select a computer program that provides a wide range of statistical procedures to meet the specific needs of your research study. Next is number four, descriptive analysis. So, run descriptive analysis to answer questions related to the characteristics and distribution of the data. And the fifth one is inferential analysis. So, conduct inferential analysis to address group comparisons and relationships outlined in your research questions or hypothesis. So, report key is statistical indicators such as p-values for hypothesis testing and confidence intervals and effect size to provide a comprehensive understanding of the result. So next is number 6, data representation. Represent data effectively in tables and figures following the format of outlined in the APA style for clear and standardized presentation. Useful information for consumers of research. Number 1 is understanding research questions. To best comprehend the statistics presented in a research report, focused on understanding the research questions that the investigator aim to answer. Look for a discussion of results that align with this research questions to gain a clear understanding of the study outcomes. Number 2, selection of statistics. So, recognize the choice of statistics by a researcher. Um, it should be based on a specific criteria and assesses the data collected to determine if the selection of statistical test aligns with the 7 factors identified in the table 6.5, ensuring the appropriate analysis methods are used. And number 3 is comparing groups. So when researchers compare groups, go beyond just reviewing the statistical test results. Look for additional information on confidence intervals and effect size to interpret the magnitude of group differences effectively. So, by considering these key points, consumers of research can enhance their understanding of statistical findings in research or in research reports, ensuring a comprehensive interpretation of the results and their implications. Understanding concepts and evaluating research studies. So using table 65 as your guide. Table 65 is the figure that I showed you earlier. So using this is to determine the appropriate statistical test to use to analyze this question. Work with the assumption that your sampling distribution is normal. So answer this question to determine your statistical test. So, by analyzing hypotheses, cleaning data, and interpreting statistical results are fundamental aspects of research and research methodology. So, these tasks help us understand the importance of formulating clear hypotheses, ensuring data accuracy, and interpreting statistical findings to draw meaningful conclusions. So, by addressing these questions, researchers can apply appropriate statistical tests, clean and prepare data analysis, and interpret results accurately. So, contributing to the validity and reliability of their research studies.
So that would be the content of our chapter 6, analyzing and interpreting quantitative data. So always remember that research is seeing what everybody else has seen and thinking what nobody else has thought. And we hope that you learned something from our video. Stay safe and God bless to everyone.